YouTube is on. YouTube is on.
The park space, please check double crash.
Oh, crash, we will open it again. It's up again.
All right.
The time. But yeah, you laugh, I'm very close with you. But yeah, you laugh that laugh, I'm very close with you.
We are hearing you, Mr.
Mute,
Jolo.
please.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another Yoruba Runners session or series, as I normally would call it. I am Olapeju Ayola, and I will be your host for tonight. There's been a lot going on in Nigeria. It's a very trying and delicate time for us right now. And we've been having a lot of conversation about some of the issues we're currently facing right now. And I'm hoping that every family in Nigeria, especially across Yoruba land, who are going through a lot of challenges right now, I'm praying that you find some comfort till the storm is over and that your family members come back home soon. And I pray for the same for every family member across Nigeria who are also experiencing the same thing. We're going to go back in more detail. We're going to be doing part 2 of the topic we started last week. And we're going to be drawing parallel to what's happening in Sudan, in contrast with what is currently going on in Nigeria. And we're hoping that we Yoruba will see this moment to become a very, very collaborative and loving and kind community to be able to overcome this new phase and the challenges that we're facing, and that we're also alert and we're careful, and we also report things that are not normal or things that we find strange in our communities to the appropriate authorities so that they can help us. And I pray that the authority will also do the right thing to assist the communities and everyone. So Yoruba people, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, wà careful ní àsìkò tá a wà yìí. And please, it is time for us to gather ourselves as a community and look for solutions to little issues, whatever we can do to help ourselves to keep things tight till we're able to navigate the storm that we're facing right now, to navigate the stormy, or would I say the troubled waters that we are in right now. I would also urge our elders, I will urge you and beg you to think of solutions and to also communicate. So we at least know that you're doing something. We know what you're doing. You carry us along, that you help us figure out these challenges we are facing, and we're able to work together. So it's a very trying time for us, but mo nígbàgbọ́ pé a máa lagun yìí náà jà ní agbára Ọlọ́run. And I would like to also introduce my co-host, Madam Ajoke Ade, who is always here with us every week, and Mr. Mr. Oluwole Lewis, who is also here with us and is always with us almost every week, as well as Mr. Jolomi, and they will all be moderating the Q&A. And of course, Mr. Delomi is always here with us every week. And finally, Madam Ajoke, who is always on social media platform, engaging and interacting with our audience in the comment section. And finally, I'll be introducing the speaker for tonight, the president of TYF, Are Oladimeji Bolariwa. Are, I hope you're going to be able to give us more insight to the topic today. Are you ready?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm a little bit my voice is a little bit cracked today due to the flu, but I hope I'll be able to deliver. Thank you so much. The wonderful hosts and co-hosts, to all the moderators, those moderating TikTok, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, people listening on TYF Park and for the live audio streaming, and people that are watching on TYF Ando. May Olodumare continue to be with us. May Olodumare continue to empower us. I really feel sorry for the children that were captured, that were kidnapped at Kebbi State and at Niger State. I also feel sorry for the entire Christians in Nigeria, the Christian body, especially Christ Apostolic Church, because of what they suffered this week in the hands of terrorists who went into the church when the church was streaming the program live, killed a lot of people, and not only that, they took a large number of people into the bush. Today is going to be a very, very sober day because as we speak, many schools in the northern part of Nigeria they've closed their schools because of the threats of the invasion of terrorists. Slow and steady, what we feared is gradually coming to us, is gradually happening to us. I want to greet everybody listening to me all over the world. Those of you that has made it a point of duty every Saturday, especially the silent majority, the thousands of people that watch us and continue to watch us to share this message of hope. I really want to also say this. If you see any of my videos, you see any of my past lectures, please, you can take it and share it to as many friends, your friends as possible. You don't need to wait for me. You don't need any permission because this information needs to go viral. A lot of people need to know, get the message of TYF. A lot of people need to know the message that we preach, the message of pan-Yorubanism, ethno-linguistic federalism, and teaching geopolitics from the indigenous African perspective. It's very, very important that we do this so that a lot of people can actually be freed. The reason why a particular part of the country, a particular minority has been able to subjugate the rest of us, that's the word to use within Nigeria, is that they have the ability to communicate, they have the ability to control narrative and to manipulate, and they are ideologically driven compared to the rest of us, that we are always reacting instead of acting. We cannot afford to make a very, very, make the same mistake of the 20th century in this 21st century, because the world is moving ahead. The first, second, third, fifth, sixth revolution has happened for the past 300 years. We are even in the age of artificial intelligence revolution, but one way or the other, the Yoruba race has not been able to participate in any of the great revolutions that has happened in Europe, in Asia, and in other powerful places in North America and South America. And if we are not careful, we will not be able to participate in the way the world is moving. I pray that once again, I pray that the families of those of the kidnapped children, school children, God will give them the strength to be able to be solid, to be strong during this trying period. And the soldiers, the police that will be going into the places, different places, to rescue these people. And I pray God will be with all, be with them. Today is a very powerful day. I greet us all in the name of Olodumare. Today is a very, very interesting day. And today's topic is one of the most important topics you can ever hear on the Yoruba Runu program. Today's topic is one of the best topics that is even more than a topic. It is like a first aid kit. The topic is like a safety kit that will be able, it's like a torch that will be able to take us through this trying time. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a very, very important topic and a very, very important phenomena that has been destroying and tearing Africa apart for the past 40 to 50 years. Unfortunately, we are now, unfortunately, we are now witnessing a phenomenon that will change who is going to become the next superpower in Africa or sub-Saharan Africa for the next 300, 400 years. The topic today is jihadization of banditry. Some people call it the banditization of jihad. What we are witnessing, has it happened before? Where has it happened? And what makes people like us very scared is that many, many leaders, political leaders, nationalistic leaders, Arewa leaders, Fulani leaders, intellectual leaders of thought from the northern part of Nigeria studied in Sudan, many of them. If many of them did not have their first degree in Sudan, they had their second degree in Sudan, they have their third degree in Sudan. And it is so scary that the kind of rhetoric, the kind of ideology that has turned Sudan into a state of perpetual war zone, that has literally destroyed Sudan, is what we are currently witnessing in Nigeria. It is very, very scary. And tonight, I want you to, if you have a pen and paper, I want you to follow the way I will be making a lot of juxtaposition. Because only God can stop Nigeria from becoming another Sudan. Many of us believed that one way or the other, the political elite, especially from the north, from the southwest, and from the south-south, and from the middle belt, and other progressive like-minded from the east, might be able to salvage Nigeria. But what we've seen for the past 2, 3, 4 months is scary, because some school of thoughts in Nigeria believe that the problem of Nigeria is the price of gari and kuli. Once they are able to stabilize the economy, that's they've been able to solve the problem of Nigeria. And unfortunately, the reality has reared its ugly head. And we are now seeing that Nigeria is beyond the price of garri and bread. Nigeria is a clash of civilization. There is a war going on in Nigeria. And what is the war going on in Nigeria? It is a war between the Afro-Asiatic civilization, Afro-Asiatic Islamic civilization, and indigenous West African civilization. This is the war we are facing. It is a war that people have not been able to diagnose. It is a war that even the victims do not know why they are a victim of Nigeria. It is a war that those that are orchestrating it have been able to mask in using different tactics. The perpetrators of this war, the active participants of this war, people that are launching war on defenseless people, have been able to use different terms and terminologies. And I'm going to tell you the terms and terminologies they use in Nigeria. And I'm going to tell you this was exactly what they were saying in the 70s and in the 80s in Sudan. Number one, they first said climate change. They said climate change is the reason why Fulani nomadic herders, mostly of Fulani extractions, are fighting with farmers all over Nigeria. The war against indigenous people by the people that one way or the other, the media organizations in Nigeria called bandits gave them that name, even though they are terrorists. They said the reason why Fulani herders are coming from the Sahel and killing a lot of people in their farms is because of climate change. I tried as much as possible to go and compare notes. What exactly happened in Sudan when nomadic herders, who were nomadic Arab tribes called the Bagara Arabs, when they Arabized, who are mostly Arabized people, when they started attacking indigenous people, when they started attacking farmers, when they started attacking farming villages, the excuse Sudan, the government of Sudan, under Omar al-Bashir, and even the past presidents of Sudan, the excuse they gave the whole world and their allies was that it is because of the climate change that is making nomadic people, others, pastoralists, to leave Chad, to leave Cameroon, to leave Nigeria, to go into Darfur, to go into South Sudan, to be clashing with indigenous farmers. That was exactly what they said. And if you look at Nigeria, for the past 15 years, the same mentality, the same ideology, the same excuses is what is being used to water down the killings of people, to water down the destruction of people, to water down the extermination of indigenous people. So they gave genocide, they called it farmer herders crisis. Furthermore, they said these are not terrorists, these are just bandits, that they are just like thieves, they are just attacking people indiscriminately. But the question we should ask ourselves, why is it that it is just one ethnicity, the Fulanis, that are at the forefront of attacking indigenous people across Nigeria? These are the questions that people refuse to answer. Because let me tell you something about Nigeria. Nigeria has a way of trying as much as possible to ensure that the victims are told in the name of unity to accept to be the sacrificial lamb of Nigeria. Nigeria does not talk about justice, and this is not a Tinubu problem. Now, this is also what I want you to know. The problem we are facing is not a Tinubu problem. The problem we are facing even predates the existence of Nigeria. It is not a lie that for the past 200 years, Fulani soldiers, army of the caliphate, jihadists, others, militias have been attacking indigenous people for political reasons, for economic reasons, and for social reasons, and for religious reasons. Now, why do I say for religious reason? Now, this is not ethnic profiling. We are trying to get to the root cause of this. And we need to properly understand and study Sudan as a case study. Sudan was a British creation. Nigeria was a British creation. There was Northern Sudan, there was Southern Sudan. There is Northern Nigeria, there is Southern Nigeria. Northern Sudan was mostly Muslim, and Southern Sudan was mostly Christian. So the similarities is huge. Southern Sudan had most of the oil wells and oil deposits of Sudan, of Sudan. Why Northern Sudan did not have oil compared to South Sudan? The same thing in Nigeria. The oil and gas is in the south, and in the north, they do not have the oil and gas. But we all know by hook and crook where the military juntas, which were mostly Northerners, they've been able to write constitutions. They put so many clauses where they use landmass, population, and all sorts of gimmicks in order to be creating more local government, more states, to take as many resources from the south in the name of one Nigeria. Now, I'm not here to be criticizing. I'm still going to other things. We just need to understand the pathogenesis of the Nigerian situation and where we are probably heading. Because slow and steady, we are now realizing that we are in a big trouble. What I think it might even be too late for state police to solve the problem of Nigeria. I don't see any way state police will be able to win the war against these Fulani militias across the north central and not across the northwest. I think this might even lead to a full-blown war across the northwest and across the north central. This is the bitter truth, because there is absolutely no single state in Nigeria that does not have, especially in the northwest and mostly in the northeast and mostly in the north central, that does not have one form of vigilante or the other. This is the bitter truth. We also know the state of our polity, where political elites are chronically corrupt, and they might even be diverting money meant to buy guns and ammunition for their state vigilantes, which has now made our people exposed to killings. The central government of Nigeria, which we call the federal government of Nigeria, we run a centralized security system. The federal government of Nigeria cannot protect every Nigerian anymore. I listened to the DSS chief, where he said that communities must also fortify themselves in order to be able to defend themselves, because the security agencies cannot be everywhere. These are words that were said on television. These are not propaganda, showing that we are on our own. The former chief of staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a national elder statesman, General T.Y. Danjuma, also said the Nigerian security system colludes with Fulani ethnic militias that they call bandits to wipe out and kill indigenous people. Is this a conspiracy theory? I'm asking rhetorically. And also, General T.Y. Danjuma also said that indigenous people of Nigeria must protect themselves or they will be killed. He said it in a very open mind, in a very plain sentence, meaning that he understands what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. A former general of Nigeria cannot say he does not know what he's talking about. So therefore, we need to ask ourselves, what exactly is our future? Where are we going? What exactly is Nigeria going to be? I am not a prophet, I'm not a soothsayer, and I don't have a crystal ball in front of me. But I can tell you, if you are able, you study Yugoslavia, you study USSR, you study Sudan, essentially Sudan as a case study. Especially the way how one of the things that destroyed Sudan was the inability of Sudan to separate the religion from the state. Religion from the state. So Nigeria is facing a multifactorial problem. And the biggest threat to Nigeria's unity, it is not IPOB. That's the bitter truth. The biggest threat to Nigeria's unity is religion. It is the weaponization religion for politics. There is no way on earth where religion and state are mixed and intermingled together to achieve a political goal in a supposedly secular, in a supposedly multi-religious, in a supposedly multi-ethnic country, where that country has never exploded and broken into pieces. That was exactly what happened in Sudan. And the reason why we are doing this is to be able to warn our people about the impending doom, the impending destruction, the impending. We are not prophets of doom. I'm going to talk about the issues. We are going to diagnose the problem, and we are going to probably suggest some solutions. Hopefully, the powers that be in Nigeria can probably do one or two things. I said, I don't think state police can be able to conquer the Fulani militias that are currently in the Northwest. The northwestern part of Nigeria, which is the epicenter of this onslaught, is probably the size of Texas in the United States of America. The northwestern part of Nigeria has been one of the places where tens of thousands of indigenous people have been wiped out from the surface of the earth. And coincidentally, it is one of the richest places on earth with gold, lithium, and other mineral resources. The northwestern part of Nigeria is also the seat of the Sokoto Caliphate that professes itself as the custodian of Islam for themselves. So we need to understand that we need to understand how we got to this problem. In Sudan, in the 1970s and 1980s, there started a little problem. I'm going to talk about the diagnosis. In the simple term, indigenous people, mostly three ethnicities in Western Sudan. I'm going to use Western Sudan as a case study. They started having even, and Southern Sudan, before South Sudan left, they started having issues as regards to pastoralists bringing their cows and using it to destroy their farms. And when farmers complain, there is no justice. In Sudan, it was a very racist and very, very discriminatory society. The Arab Muslims were treated as demigods, as superior to the rest of the country. When they commit atrocities, they get away with it. There was a kind of a double standard as regards justice. Though, are we not seeing the same thing in Nigeria, where Fulani ethnic militias that have killed thousands and thousands of people are given VIP treatment? We even have a former medical doctor and a former soldier of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is an Islamic leader in the person of Dr. Sheikh Gumi, who was the father of another fanatical Salafist preacher in the person of Abubakar Gumi going about making excuses, both national and internationally, for terrorists. And the Nigerian government says nothing. And we see Arewa youths who are probably, who say they are also victims of this carnage, making excuses for the killers of their brethren. So we start asking questions, what's going on? And at the height of the killings, what the Sudanese government started doing in the 1980s was that they started telling the indigenous people in South Sudan and West Sudan to give the pastoralist lands, telling them they should be able to share because we are all, it is all one Sudan. And that was how a lot of the sentiment, the bad blood, that finally led to the disintegration of Sudan, that was exactly one of the things that worsened it, that exacerbated it. And if you observe, for many of us that have a very sharp memory, many of this rhetoric has been used by past and present leaders in Nigeria, where somebody will take AK-47, going into villages, killing 500 people in the night, and when the government wants to talk, they say it is true fighting. The government is not even interested in justice for the victims of genocide. They are more interested in trying to manipulate, dehumanize, and telling people that, oh, you are not supposed to talk outside because you are giving your country a bad name. A country that has not protected our people. A country that is wiping people out. This was how the refugee crisis of Sudan started. All of a sudden, others who are Arabs by tribe. So what the Arab herdsmen who are tending cows, camels, goats were doing in Sudan was exactly what the Fulani have been doing in Nigeria for the past 20, 30 years. All of a sudden, Arab pastoralists that used to tender their cows with sticks, all of a sudden, people started seeing them with AK-47. And this was how the issue started. And all of a sudden, they created bandits. They became bandits because many of them had guns. So the issue of tending cows, of tending cattle was no longer enough. So many of them started going into kidnapping. They started going to kidnapping, killing, smuggling, taxing villages in order to be able to collect money for protection. That was exactly what these bandits were doing in Sudan, especially in South Sudan and North Sudan and West Sudan. And because most of the victims of these crimes against humanity were not Arabs, they were other indigenous Muslims and non-Muslims, especially most of the victims of the bandits in Sudan were mostly the Zagawa people, the Masalit, the Four, the Dinkas, especially towards the south and the west. And this was going on. And the government at the center, because the Arabs controlled every levels of politics. And there has been an agenda that the Arabs believe that they own Sudan, and they must control and subjugate Sudan. They must control the politics of Sudan. They must control Sudan, and Sudan must become Arabized, and they must impose Sharia law all over Sudan. Does it sound familiar? We are not making this up. So that people tell us, oh, it's only for Muslims. Oh, oh no, it's all lies. Because this was exactly the foundation of Sudan has been laid in Nigeria. kidnapping people for ransom, raping women, killing men, kidnapping school children. This was exactly what the bandits were doing in Sudan. And what happened in Sudan? Because the Arabs did not want to kill their fellow Arabs, the government of Khartoum did not want to kill their fellow Arabs. People like Al-Turabi. Al-Turabi was a political Islamist who was a Salafist, who had a PhD in Islamic jurisprudence from the Maliki School of Islamic Jurisprudence, just exactly like Dr. Sheikh Gumi, started making excuses for the bandits. Oh, they just need food. Oh, they are not being taken care of. Oh, they are depraved. They are living in the bush. This was the rhetoric of Al-Turabi and other Islamist preachers. I didn't say Islamist preachers in Sudan. And the victims felt helpless. They shouted. The world started talking about refugee crisis. All of a sudden, we started seeing people running from their lands and going to Darfur, going to Ethiopia, Central African Republic, people fleeing into towns and cities. Many of the villages became empty. It's already happening in Kogi, Yoruba cities and towns in Kogi. Many of those places have become empty. It's already happening in many places in Kwara State. Our people are leaving their towns and villages and cities, running into Ilorin, many of them to Lagos. Those that did not have people in Lagos, those that did not have the people in Ilorin, what are they doing? They are running into IDP camps. Many of them are in IDP camps for the past 6, 7, 8 years. Many of them have even started giving birth in IDP camps. In fact, what our government is now doing is to our politicians are doing is to be creating voting centers in IDP camps because they are very good for voting. After voting, give them small rice, but they have no plan of taking people back to their homeland because the homeland has been taken over by Fulani ethnic militias. This is the situation. This was exactly what the Bagara Arabs, nomads, the pastoralists were doing in Sudan. And they were being pampered by the central government of Sudan because they felt that they were the blue bloods of Sudan, just like the way we see in Nigeria, where they get away with all sort of impunity. And anytime the South Sudanese were complaining that they are being killed, they were defenseless. They said, oh, sorry, you need to talk about unity. One Sudan, one destiny. Oh, it is Almighty Allah that created Sudan. It's exactly the same kind of rhetoric for the past 2 weeks since Donald Trump, America, has started beaming light on the crime against humanity that is taking place in Nigeria, against sedentary non-Muslims and Muslim community being committed by Fulani militias, Fulani ethnic militias. Instead of talking about, oh, we are going to bring people to justice, what are they talking about? They are saying it is IPOB that exposed the killings going on in Nigeria. They are saying, oh, let us be united. How do you unite when people are being slaughtered? How do you tell victims to forget the reason why they are victims and we should just move on? What sort of patriotism is this? And we've seen political bloggers. We've seen people with zero conscience in their hearts. We've seen mercantilist people who profit from selling propaganda, going about young and old, saying that all is well. Even the killing that happened when in a church, when the program is being streamed live, they even said it is AI. We cannot continue like this. This is impossible. This is unacceptable because we know where this is going to end. People will have to defend themselves. People will lose trust in government. and the entire Nigeria security architecture is going to collapse. Let me also tell you something that is very, very synonymous. What happened in Sudan and what happened in Nigeria? In Sudan, when immediately the Arabs hijacked power, that's the way the Fulanis hijacked power in Nigeria, especially from independence and especially after the first coup. What happened? There had been different agitations that was led especially from the progressive bloc of Nigeria. That's been okay. Let me first talk about Sudan, the Sudan case. I told you the North and South Sudan was also amalgamated in 1956, and the South said, "Look, you are ultra Sunni Arab supremacists. You want to practice Sharia law. We are two different people. We are Christians. Some of them first are even traditionalists. You cannot impose Sharia law on us. Go and let us separate religion from politics. For us to be one happy family in this Sudan, even though Sudan was a creation of Arab, Egyptian, and British imperialism. Please, and is the Arabs have been fighting they've been fighting for 1,300 years in order to annihilate and totally subjugate the entire Nilotic people in that area of southern Sudan. They've been doing everything humanly possible to subjugate the entire people of southern Sudan, especially the Nilotic people there, but they failed. What is the meaning of Sudan in Arabic? It means the land of the black people. So many of the people that you see in South Sudan, historically, they fled centuries and centuries into the swamps, into the Niger Delta axis area of the Nile River, in order to be able to survive slave raid, conquest, Arabization, and Islamization through sword. But unfortunately, the British came in and marched people that has been fighting a war of survival, brutal war. It's like you are saying you must put Ukraine and Russia in the same country, or you put Germany and France in the same country. How do you expect peace? It's under a unitary system of government. That was what that was what happened in Sudan. That was exactly what we have in Nigeria too. And now we are here. The South Sudanese intellectuals, they lobbied. We need true federalism. Let us have restructuring. This was exactly what they were saying in Sudan. As you are listening to me today, I hope your light is brightened. Your mind is brightened. I'm not here to make you afraid. I'm here to let you know, because once you know, maybe we can avert this disaster. Because many of our political elites, especially in the South and the Middle Belt, are very, very naive. They do not understand that we are in the belly of the beast. They do not understand that we are at a very critical period. They do not even understand the complexity of the Nigerian situation, the complexity of the Sahel. If we turn Nigeria into a $1 trillion economy, if we do not fix these fundamentals, Nigeria will be taken over by bandits, just the way the Ottoman Turks. The Ottoman Turks were also nomadic people, pastoralists, and they were able to capture the entire Byzantine Empire. This was exactly what happened in Ottoman Empire and happened to the Byzantine Empire, the richest empire in the Roman world. And exactly the same thing can happen to Nigeria. So President Tinubu, we appreciate your work, stabilizing the naira, increasing the dollar. No matter what you do, this country can still fall, the way Kabul fell to Taliban. And what happened? Like I said, anytime the South, goes to any conference, constitutional conference in South Sudan, in Sudan, northern leaders, especially radicals, they will say, oh, we are not interested in restructuring. Now, just like the way Shetima came out to say restructuring my foot, that was exactly the way Arab Sudanese leaders from the north were saying restructuring their foot. And I want to tell you the reality. Nobody can tell me that there is no cross-fertilization of ideas, exchange of correspondence between northern Sudan and northern Nigeria till 2025. The way they behave, the way they talk, the way they act, it is the same. And that is why you see that they love dictatorship. The kind of people that the kind of demagogues, the kind of people that they see as good leadership is absolutely people. They are people that have one way or the other annihilated, decimated, destroyed Nigeria, and crushed southern dissidents. They'll be praising people like Buhari as great leaders. They'll be saying Abacha is the great Khalifa. They'll be praising all sorts of iron-clad people like Babangida as their role model. They'll be, these are the kind of things that, because they do not respect, they do not believe in democracy. They believe that their minority rule, their ironclad rule over the rest of us is more safer under an authoritarian regime. And it is the bitter truth. Everything like the creation of the NSCIA, creation of states, in order that has been able to turn big minority enclave, non-Hausa Fulani Christian minority enclave like Southern Kaduna, Southern Bauchi, Southern Gobi, Southern Kebbi, Eastern Niger states, and a whole Southern Borno that are full of ethnicities that fought and defended and survived the onslaught of Uthman Dan Fodio. And they've been able to use the military power they've acquired post-Civil War in order to subjugate and almost annihilate these people, all in the name of one Nigeria. And anytime there is a kind of a life being binned, they find a way to buy up their leaders, shut them up, and continue to gaslight the rest of us with things like bigotry and Tiarewa, you are against one Nigeria, and the weaponization of politics. So we need to understand this. And they've been able to appeal to the greed of our Negro leaders. It's the bitter truth. Some of our people are ready to sell out their homeland for the sake of power. They are ready to destroy Yoruba nationalism in order to become fifth-class citizens. I'm going to be saying a lot of profound things tonight. Like I said, Southern Sudan asked for restructuring for more than 40 years. The more they asked for restructuring, the more the entire Sudan was getting destabilized by bandits. And these bandits were mostly Arab pastoralists. All of a sudden, I told you, so there was things like state police, they are not interested. True federalism, they are not interested. They just want to be in Khartoum, at the center, while they continue to control the rest of the country, and nobody talking and asking them. That is why when people say they are not, the issue of the Muslim tickets, even though President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Christian, he's a Muslim, and he's a Yoruba man, we understand that from the Yoruba point of view, he's not a Salafist, he's not a radical, and he's representing the Yoruba people, not Islam. That is why many of us are supporting him. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, the Muslim tickets actually fits into the diabolical agenda that was orchestrated by El Rufai in Kaduna in 2000, when he was the governor of Kaduna, where, because Kaduna is almost 50-50 Christian Muslim. And what happened? If you go and listen and read the ideology of the father of Sheikh Gumi. I'm talking about Abubakar Sheikh Gumi, Abubakar Gumi, who was the Grand Kandi of the entire northern region. What he said is that it is un-Islamic. It is a form of blasphemy for non-Muslims to be ruling over Muslims, for non-Muslims to have any form of political and economic power over Muslims. That was exactly what they were preaching in the north. And in the northwest, it was wrong. They saw it as a big sacrilege for non-Muslims, especially Southern Kaduna, to even be saying they are having a form of deputy governor, because they said they must never allow what happened to Patrick Yakowa ever happen again. And what happened to that Patrick Yakowa? Namadi Sambo was chosen to become the vice president, candidate to Goodluck Jonathan. And Patrick Yakowa, by stroke of luck, because he was the deputy governor, became the governor of Kaduna State. So he became the governor of a state that is in the northwest states, that these radicals, these extremists, believe is the seat of their caliphate. And mysteriously, all of a sudden, he died in a crash. This is why we need to be we need to understand what Nigeria is all about. Nigeria is not one happy family. There are people in Nigeria that have ulterior motive. We saw what happened to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Barely 1 year into power, they started planning a coup d'etat. There's kidnapping the same way they destroyed and destabilized the government of Jonathan. They've started. And that is why many of us have been saying, you cannot. These people are going to hold you hostage. It is better for you to do the right thing so that we are going to be free from this yoke, from this slavery that has pinned down the rest of us in Nigeria, at the expense of a minority group who believe that the British has handed over Nigeria to them as the colonizers of Nigeria. This is the bitter truth. And we need to understand that. It is not a call for secession. Because, let me tell you the truth, no black country on earth has the ability, without the consent of the superpower, to be able to say you are going to redraw any map in the world. For you to say you want to break Nigeria, one of the superpowers must back you up. If the superpowers do not back you up, you will not be able to change the dynamics of power in the world. That is the bitter truth. That is what they call sovereignty. That was why when we challenged, what is exactly is this thing called sovereignty? What is exactly is this thing called sovereignty? What is sovereignty? Who created this sovereignty? The sovereignty that was created after the 1884 Berlin West African Conference and drew this map. Is that what you are saying? Oh, this is Nigerian sovereignty. That is British sovereignty. That is European-made sovereignty. You are not defending the sovereignty of Africans. You are defending the sovereignty of European imperialism. And anybody that dares challenge and change this map is going to be crushed. Even when the Tutsi-led M23 militias in Sudan, which is backed by Rwanda, after they captured one of the most richest states in North Kivu and South Kivu, in terms of mineral resources, when they captured those two states in Congo, they did not declare those countries as independent. What did they do? They are ruling those states as parallel states, and they are saying, oh, we are going to take the whole of Congo. Because once they say, oh, we are going to match this country with Rwanda, or we are going to declare our own separate states, the entire European powers are going to crush them. Because you must not change the international order, except they tell you to do so. So it is this international thing, it is this knowledge of geopolitics that I believe that the Arabs and the Arawa leaders understood This was why Biafra was crushed in 1967, because the European powers did not want another creation of another state, except they say so. They create states, they create countries based on their own worldview. When Cuba wanted to get out of line, they economically impoverished Cuba. When Haiti did the unthinkable, defeated the army of Napoleon Bonaparte, defeated the Spanish army, defeated the British army, defeated the French army, which was the best in the world at that time, and he declared independence. And he said, all men are born equal. What did they do to Haiti? Haiti is being made a scapegoat for the rest of us. Haiti was destroyed. And it's been, in fact, Haiti was forced to pay reparation to France for their declaring independence. So you have to understand. I have to start. That's why I'm telling you, when we say the only best bet for us to go in order to be able to stand a chance to protect ourselves from this Sahelian hurt is to be able to have restructuring within Nigeria. It is not out of cowardice, it is out of geopolitical strategy. It is out of geopolitical common sense. Because all what you need to do is for you to say, oh, you are doing restructuring. You are for, if you look at these Islamists, most of the extremists in Nigeria, maybe they are in Yoruba land, because we also have Salafists in Yoruba land. People that want to destroy democracy. People that want to destroy secularism. People that want to replace the Yoruba civilization with Wahhabi, Sunni, ultra-Sunni civilization. Those who believe that the Yoruba way of life should be replaced with the Arab way of life, not even Islam way of life. They are always calling themselves patriotic Nigerians. You know why? All of us, you are seeing them saying, oh, they want Sharia law, implementation of Sharia law in a supposedly secular country, and at the same time, they're going to say they are proud Nigerians. Why are they doing that? Because once they throw the Nigerian patriotism at the states, at many people, they are going to get away with even killings, with destruction. You will not be able, and because religion has been, Islam has been weaponized for political goals and agenda in a powerful bloc in Nigeria, they can always find an umbrella to hide. So that is why they are all of a sudden afraid. Because if it is British or French or Russia that is challenging them and saying, stop killing people, they are going to say, we don't care. But America is the one talking. And all of a sudden, they believe that people that they've captured, the people they see as slaves, because they've learned the mistake from the arrogance of North Sudan. Now, when America want North Sudan, the way it was crushing and massacring and destroying the Christians, the moderate Muslims, non-Arab population of Sudan, different American governments called them and can complain about human rights abuses, crime against humanity. What did the government of Sudan do? They said Sudan is a sovereign country. America cannot tell them what to do. In fact, there was a time Osama bin Laden, when he was chased around, he was allowed to come and settle in Sudan. Does it also make sense? Is it making sense that all of a sudden, extremist radical preachers that have been banned, even some of them banned in Saudi Arabia, some of them banned in America, in Canada, in many Western countries, all of a sudden, they are being platformed in our institutions, universities, polytechnics, in many madrasas, to be preaching their radical form of Islam. Right in the open. Now, this is not an attack about Islam, but I'm telling you the similarity. Osama bin Laden was in Sudan, preaching in many mosques, in many universities, University of Khartoum. At a point in time, Osama bin Laden was even donating billions, because he was from a rich family. He was donating billions and millions of dollars. They were building hospitals, building mosques. They were giving people scholarship while he was in Sudan. It was until the American government now said if Saudi Arabia does not expel, if Sudan does not expel Osama bin Laden, that is when they are going to economically cripple Sudan and further support South Sudan, who are mostly Christians, in their war of independence and liberation against Sudan. So that was when Sudan now involuntarily expelled Osama bin Laden, and Osama bin Laden relocated to Afghanistan, then Pakistan. So you have to understand how this dynamic is. And all of a sudden we see this same pattern in Nigeria. And our government is folding arms. They do not understand. To them, they think they can continue to paper over the cracks. But Nigeria is fighting a war. What we are doing is we are containing terrorism. Nigeria is not defeating terrorism. Nigeria is containing these terrorists. We've just been able to push. Now, Nigeria is having so many complex issues. The North Central is no longer safe. For at the point in time, the North Central was out of touch. Now the North Central is in trouble. The Northeast, Nigeria has been battling two powerful insurgencies that are led by Kanuris, ISWAP and Boko Haram. You look at the Northwest, there is Fulani ethnic militias, there is Lakurawa, there is Al-Qaeda, there's also this group called Ansaru that is also operating in the Middle Belt, wiping out, killing Nigerian soldiers. And we understand where this is going because the political system, the political structure, and the security structure will be overwhelmed. So this was what was going on in Sudan. And from what I've said so far, I know you are going to start putting one or two things together as you are listening to me. Like this is exactly what is happening in Nigeria. This is exactly what is happening in Nigeria. And unfortunately, the more Southern Sudanese were asking for restructuring, state police, the more the Sudan was getting destabilized. All of a sudden, it was just band others versus pastoral. That's why I was trying to make a point that the reason why you see all of a sudden Arewa bloggers, Arewa youth and their leaders are going everywhere asking for peace and unity. It is because they learned their lesson. They learned their lesson from what happened in Sudan. So what happened in Sudan, you can see Arewa elites are taking a different path compared to their radical youths who are protesting in the street of Kano in Abuja, burning flags and doing all sorts of nonsense. Because, but for Northern Sudan elites, they were boasting that they are not going to listen to America, which is an infidel nation. So they understand that was a mistake that North Sudan made. That is why all these tears of, oh, let us all come together that you see people like Bashir Ahmed are doing, it's all lies. It is to buy time. It is to re-strategize. It is to be able to diplomatically escape the stick that is about to fall on them. Because it was America that liberated the people of South Sudan from the jaws of the destruction, from Arabization, Islamization, and annihilation. Unfortunately, the Darfur people did not escape. The Zagawa people, the Masalit people did not escape because they were able to rigmarole them via Islamic Brotherhood by saying, are we not all Muslims? If you go and join them in South Sudan, you are going to become minority. But what is happening? The Arabs are wiping indigenous black Muslims off the surface of the earth. And that is why you saw when Donald Trump told Saudi Arabia, we are very, told Saudi Arabia, we see the genocide, the ethnic cleansing, millions of people wiped out in the most egregious way you can ever dream of. The kind of thing you read in the 15th, 16th century is what they are doing. These people, they do the same thing in northern Nigeria. Beheadings, all sort of wickedness. Donald Trump told them, he said, this Arab world should go and solve their problems. That he knows that Saudi Arabia is capable of solving the problem of Sudan. He did not say more than that. Because the people of Darfur, when they had the opportunity, you are black people, for God's sake. You know what the Arabs are capable of. You could have lobbied, used at the peak of South Sudan getting out of Sudan, to also say, if South Sudan leave, we are also leaving and getting out of this trap called Sudan. You did stay there. And what happened? It did not take up to 10 years before the Arabs started slaughtering you again. So it is the same. Now, if you look at the people they call bandits in Sudan, most of them were, say, pastoralists, unemployed people, former soldiers. You look at who they call bandits in Nigeria, mostly pastoralists, former soldiers, unemployed people. So the excuse that is going around by mostly Fulani leaders, because the term northern leaders has been bastardized. The terminology of northern leaders, Arewa leadership, has been bastardized. When they say Arewa, it actually means northern leaders. And when they say Arewa leaders, when they say northern leaders, when they say Islamic leaders, in Nigeria, it means Fulani leaders. They've been able to corner leadership of Islamic bodies. They've been able to corner leadership of they've been able to turn themselves into the custodian of Arewa nationalism, into the custodian of Islamic nationalism in Nigeria, thereby making a minority to become extremely powerful at the expense of the rest of us. And they are using that power for feudalism and to destroy the rest of us. The same thing happened in Sudan. So what the bandits did in Sudan was that they systematically annihilated, decimated the indigenous population. The northern Sudan was not ethnically homogeneous 40, 50 years ago. The population of Arabs in northern Sudan in the 1950s and 1970s was around 30%. But in 2025, the population, the Arabs of Sudan, are now 70 to 80%. What happened? They've been able to displace millions and millions of people permanently from their lands. Many of the people have become stateless people in Sudan, in Chad, for the rest of their life. And Arabs, you still go to places like in Yala, in Darfur, Al-Fashir. Now you see what has happened in Al-Fashir. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions of people permanently chased out of their land. Ethnic cleansing. And another people are moving in. And you are seeing Bagara Arabs from Libya, from Chad, from Niger, from Central African Republic, moving en masse and occupying their houses and taking it over. It's the same thing you see in Plateau State, in many places in Plateau State, many places in Benue State, many places in Taraba State, many places even in Zamfara. Many Hausa people, their communities taking over. So it is banditry. It is banditry that actually, after some time, the government started saying it's like these people are very, very useful. So they started using them as frontier forces to crush rebellion. Let me tell you something. When the Darfur people now stood up, this is where Nigeria is heading to, and said, we've had enough of these killings. Why are they killing us? You are taking our gold. All of a sudden, the local gold mines, the gold mines in Darfur, the bandits started taking it over in Darfur. When they took over this, they were taking over these gold mines. The richest man, when it's in one of the richest man in Africa currently, is Emeti Dagolo, the leader of RSF. Emeti Dagolo did not have any degree. He does not have any major degree. He was just a bandit. He was part of the bandit leader that after some time, after killing, raping, and taking as looting, and he started controlling gold mine, he became so rich that the government of Khartoum befriended him, and they started using his forces to secure gold mines and to crush political dissidents, to crush protesters. The same bad precedent had been set in the Niger Delta, where powerful militias, powerful warlords like Tompolo, powerful warlords like Ateketon have now become kings. People like, I don't hate this man from River State, Dokubo, Asari Dokubo. I don't hate him. But these warlords, the state government have created kingdoms for them. They are now kings. They are billionaires. They are now the ones that are being used to guide pipelines. That's like the gold mines. The same thing. These are militants. Everybody will have a reason to say, oh, this is the reason why we are killing people. This is the reason why we took arms against the government. And government will start saying, oh, sorry. Okay, come. Because they could not defeat the Niger Delta militants. And they are using them. We saw what Tompolo did. He gave 10 billion naira to the Delta State government. That is the money for campaign for 2027 election. That is the money they are going to use to prosecute power. You know, they become powerful stakeholders. The same thing is going to happen in northern Nigeria, the way it also happened in northern Sudan. So that you are not going to be caught unawares about where this country is going to. Because the politicians have continued to play politics with the survival of Nigeria, with the survival of the rest of us. Not because they don't know, but because a lot of the most wretched, the most useless of our society are in powerful places within the levels of power. And they just believe that things are going to continue that way. They do not understand that we live in a very dangerous time in the world. The world has changed. The Sahel is no longer what it is. The rise of jihadism, extreme Salafists, they've taken over. They won in Afghanistan. They won in Syria. And they've literally decimated countries like Central African Republic. They've decimated countries like Mali. They've decimated countries like Niger. The country is hemorrhaging. The country is bleeding. They've decimated places in Burkina Faso. So there is almost no hope for the recovery of those places again. So let me continue as regards bandits. So bandits, they were now being made. They were now being reintegrated. They were now being turned into vigilantes. Like what is happening, like what the Kwara State government did I think the national state government also did it. This is what we heard, where they are now bringing Yetihala, people that have been fingered, organizations that have been fingered in the killings that has been happening across Nigeria. The head of Yetihala was arrested by the Nigerian government on alleged crimes of terrorism, killings of indigenous people. The same people is the kind of people they are using to guide the Yoruba people. Just the way in Sudan, they were using Arab vigilantes who had ties to the Janjaweeds. If the bandits became Janjaweed, Janjaweed became their nickname. The media called them, they call them bandits. In order to funkify, they are terrorists. We need to change that narrative. The media called them bandits. And what happened? The local Yoruba people, we call them Bororo. That they are the Bororo people killing our people in farms and kidnapping. You go to many places in the Middle Belt. Yeah, they are calling them herdsmen. You know, this is the issue. This is what we are saying. So people say they are Muslims. They these Muslims are coming because they say Allah Akbar when they want to kill people. And it is just a way for a minority to divide the population. It is part of terrorism. That is why I said what we have in Nigeria is not a religious problem. If you see any charlatan in Yoruba land that has now become spokesperson, sympathizes to Fulani ethnic militias and terrorists, the person is just being used. That is what terrorists used to do. It is Fulani's ethnic militias that go at war with state and non-state actors across 8 African countries in the Sahel, which includes Nigeria. So this is not a matter of people fighting Islam. No, many people are Muslims, including many top members of TYF. So, like I said, the government of Khartoum started in Sudan, started integrating these bandits, using them as political talks. It is true, it's on record, that the people that became Boko Haram were political talks of many powerful politicians in Borno today. They were using these jihadists, these terrorists, for political agenda. It is also been said that they are former, very, very, very powerful former generals of the Nigerian army that are using these bandits to control illegal gold, lithium mines, and other critical minerals in the north, which the government does not know anything about. So this is we are in trouble because we now have parallel societies. There are more than close to over 100,000 armed to the teeth bandits roaming the northwest, roaming the north central, and with no hope in sight. And that's why we've seen that many state governments, like you see in Zamfara, you see in Katsina, we're seeing that in Kaduna, where they are saying, they are even telling these terrorists in Sokoto and saying, oh, let us have peace meeting. And you are going to see them armed to the teeth. You are going to see the Nigerian police, Nigerian army, while they are sitting down with these non-state actors, where these non-state actors will be giving out orders, where they will be talking arrogantly. These are people that have killed thousands of Nigerian soldiers, attacked many military installations and civilian installations, that have made many people homeless, that have made millions of Nigerians into IDP camps. But nobody talks about that anymore, because one way or the other, these bandits, because of their ethnicity, they are given special privileges because they are the blue blood of Nigeria. And in my last lecture last week, I spoke about the dual mandate. The dual mandate, where the British and the Fulanis were co-colonizers of Nigeria. The same thing happened in Sudan. In Sudan, it was a dual mandate of colonization, where the Arab, Egyptian Muslims and the British were also co-colonizers of Sudan. So this is the reality. And if you have any blood, any bloodline, even if your grandfather that is Sudanese, that your grandfather or great grandfather is, or your great grandmother is Arab, you are considered Arab, and you are given a passport that has a green color. If you are black, you are given a passport that has a brown color. So this was the kind of thing. In Nigeria, we don't do that, but we know how government appointments. We know during Buhari, since the history of Nigeria, we know who gets what. Federal quota system and all the other nonsense that has given a minority clique to feel that they control the rest of us. So this is not a call for you to be angry. It's a call for you, so that your politicians, you are going to know that every 4 years election Nigeria is beyond 14 every 4 years. Nigeria, you need to understand Nigeria so that you don't become the victim of Nigeria. And deception is an art of war. When they tell you, oh, it's all lies. Sharia is only for Muslims. It's all lies. We've seen many cases, countless cases, when non-Muslims have been dehumanized in the corners in the basis of Sharia. And these people get government backing. We see how people have been sentenced to death for blasphemy. We see how people in a country that says there is freedom of religion, freedom of expression, people are sentenced to death for blasphemy. That is against Nigerian constitution. And if you dare say you are going to carry your big head to go and fight against these monsters, your life will be threatened. And even the state is going to tell you, oh, just leave them alone. There's nothing we are going to do about them. I'm saying a lot of things. And I'll go back into the issue of banditry. And from bandits, the people started calling them the local name, Janjaweeds, devil on horseback. From these Janjaweeds, they were saying, oh, let us now formally integrate them. They can be useful for the security. These people have been handling guns. These people have been handling guns for many, many years. They cannot farm anymore. They cannot go to school anymore. If you even give, so the kind of amnesty they did in Sudan was to now integrate these people into a proper army, into a kind of paramilitary. Just like the way we are now seeing Miyetti vigilantes being deployed in the Yoruba part of Kwara State and Kogi State, being deployed all across clandestinely. This is what some so-called northern governors are doing in Nigeria. That is why you need your voice. Nigerians need to understand what is going on. If you are in South, sometimes I'm not a fan of the kind of politics, the obedient mobs that is coming from Nigeria. What we are facing is beyond saying, look, let politicians do their election 2027. But let me tell you something. If you bring Angel Michael into, I'm not blaspheming to the Christian folks, into Nigeria the way it currently is going to fail in flying colors. Because Nigeria is structured to self-destruct. That's the reality that we face. And we need to understand this. So the same thing is currently happening in the northern part of Nigeria, where bandits have now become billionaires. Bandits make billions every year. They make billions. They have their own army. And you see, in fact, there has been there is a particular book, article, which talks about the jihadization of banditry, where it is now being said that there are so many so many bandit leaders that are now enforcing Sharia law in the towns and villages they control in the northwest. A state like Zamfara, that state is gone. The bandits are controlling that state. Let me tell you how Zamfara works. Zamfara is just a state that collects federal allocations, pays civil servants, and after paying civil servants, the bandits controls the gold mines. They collect taxes from the people. If you do not pay taxes, you do not work in their farms, you do not work as slaves in their gold mines, their lithium mines, you are going to be wiped out and killed. And that is what has become standardized. In fact, there has been many reports where many northern leaders now pay these bandit leaders so that they can vote for them during election. Nigeria is much on its way to Sudan, and the government tell us, oh, they bomb bandits here, they bomb bandits there, they bomb bandits here, and maybe because of the lack of political education of a lot of southern youths, especially Yoruba youths, you need to stop three things. You need to stop delving so much into hedonism, into materialism. Politics, history, and geopolitics should be something you are going to take into big consideration, and you must be patient for you to understand what is happening in Nigeria. For you to understand what is happening in Nigeria. That was why it was absolutely criminal for Southeast legislators to be pushing a bill where you are going to destroy indigenous rights. You have not pushed that bill. Millions have been chased out of their ancestral homeland, and their island occupied by Fulani militias. The Southeast legislators actually amazed me because of your greed of trying to take over Lagos. Because of one state, you are going to lose 5 states. Because of one state, you are going to lose your entire homeland, and you want to become vagabonds of the heart. Because of your greed that you want to be co-owners of Yoruba land, you want to destroy and set people up for final destruction. Was this not how the British used you Igbo leaders for imposing the unitary system of government on the rest of us? And you destroyed every means we had to be able to use peaceful means to liberate our people. In order to liberate a people, you need two routes: the ballot or the bullets. Excuse me. The ballot
Hello, what's happening?
I think we lost our. Everyone, please bear with us. Welcome back, Ari.
to be able to change any government, you need two routes: the ballot or the bullets. Let me tell you something. In Nigeria, so I've been before going into this particular part, I would like to, because that's a whole topic entirely. The banditry in Nigeria has evolved into the level of what you have in Sudan. These people have now been legitimized by state authorities. Now, if you actually don't know that there's a form of asymmetrical warfare going on. It is if you read several articles, ISWAP, Boko Haram are the ones teaching these people you call bandits, these Fulani ethnic militias, how they can kidnap school children to raise funds and to be able to show their notoriety to the world. This is a good example of the jihadization of banditry. And there is no coming back from here, because what we pray for is that these people do not evolve and properly become ideologically sound, like Al-Qaeda or ISIS, or we are going to be in trouble. Because if they have this, if they properly evolve and morph into this, we are going to be in trouble. Now, what is the solution that northern Nigerians and Arewa leaders are actually telling the rest of us for us to be able to solve this nonsense? Number one, they are telling us that the Nigerian government should give these people amnesty. I'm talking about 100,000 armed to the teeth Fulani ethnic militias that have killed tens of thousands of people. Two, they are asking people to give up their land for Ruga. This was exactly what Ruga was all about. Settle them, give them lands, and all will be well. Lands across all over Nigeria. I remember during the heat of the conversation, how do you ask? You killed people, you threatened people. You are telling us that if we do not surrender our land, you are not going to stop the killings. Look, brothers and sisters, Buhari, who was a Fulani nationalist, I'm saying this openly, is a Fulani nationalist, because when the Fulani others were killing Yoruba farmers, Yoruba civilians, Yoruba people in between 1999 and 2003, under the leadership of that great governor, great man, great Baba, late governor Lam Adeshina, Buhari, with many generals of Fulani extraction, came to Oyo State. And what they asked, what Buhari was asking is, why are you killing my people? That was what Buhari was asking. So a former general, a former president, head of state of Nigeria, coming to ask, why are you killing? He didn't even say, oh, let us look for peace. He came to defend the rights of Fulanis in Oyo State, in Ibadan. That was what he came to do in Ibadan. So you have to understand this reality that we currently face, that there is nothing like being neutral in Nigeria except you want to be destroyed. Why am I speaking and lamenting like this today? I am speaking and I'm lamenting like this because I do not want the Yoruba people to be the cannon foders of Nigeria. We must not be sacrificed. The Middle Belt has understood what is happening. Now, the Fulani ethnic militias are also saying that they should be given equal rights, especially across Benue, across Plateau State, in Kogi State, in many places in Kwara State. We've seen what the Ebira governor in Kogi State has done, where he turbaned and they were making Fulanis kings in certain communities in Ebira land, for the sake of peace. That is exactly the kind of thing they are demanding for, that the rest of us must bow down to. And this is what Arewa leaders are telling the rest of us to do. The Arewa leaders are saying that for peace to be in Nigeria, because let me tell you the truth, Arewa leaders are afraid of their people. They are afraid of these boys. They know that they are armed to the teeth. They have anti-aircraft missiles. They are bold. They are dogged. These are not just ragtag elements. They are fighters. So they know that there is no kinetic solution to this problem. This is a product of feudalism and the kind of society that Arewa has created. because it is a kind of a society where religious dogma triumphs over reasoning and intellectualism. They've created a state within a state. Zamfara, that was at the forefront of Sharia law, has now become a cesspit of terrorism. So the question you ask yourself is, that's why we've asked many people that are telling us about Sharia law in southern Nigeria, asking them, what have you done with it in the north? How many rich people have been convicted in the north due to Sharia law? We see their children enjoying their life, dancing to hip-hop music in parties, in different clubs, both within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Now, why has Hisbah police and the Sharia law not been able to crush them? We see that it's just a tool to be able to use violence to keep people in check and to be able to polarize and destroy the society and destroy the foundations of Nigeria totally. What is keeping Nigeria together is the southwest and some places in the other part of the southern region. Once that is gone, the country is gone. And some people believe that one way or the other, they can be able to use violence as a tool of nation building. So this is what we are seeing is the jihadization of banditry. That Sheikh Gumi, who is a Salafist, a radical Islamist preacher that preaches things that is against, that can harm the survival of Nigeria, even saying that he's going to go and preach to this banditry. I believe he is not going to preach to this bandits. He is going to radicalize them more and give them Islamist ideology that will even make them more dangerous to the rest of us. So, what can Nigeria do? One, there must be free compulsory education across northern Nigeria. Two, the security system in Nigeria, the economic system in Nigeria needs to be decentralized and devolved. Nigeria is not a nation, it's a country of many nations. Three, state and religion must be separated in Nigeria. You cannot adopt any state's religion. It is impossible. Four, full-scale war should be declared on this ethnic militia, Fulani ethnic militias, for us to be able to solve this problem. Now, this is now where it gets more dangerous. Anytime people stand up and say, we want to solve the problems of the killings, what exactly does northern Nigerian leaders do? They start talking about Islam. I've been trying as much as possible to expose a lot of them. And a lot of our people can now see through. I even blocked some people on my Twitter handle because they refuse to properly understand the trap that these people are trying to set for the rest of us. That was what the Arabs did in Sudan. In fact, that was how the Ottoman Empire was able to keep their empire for close to 700 years. The ability to use pan-Islamism, to subjugate people and to get away from social responsibility. We said, stop killing people. Fulani ethnic militias are wiping out indigenous people and killing thousands of people. What did you see that Fulani nationalists did in the Connaught? They started saying they are attacking Islam. We ask a question. You are Fulanis. Who made you? Is Fulani the same thing as Islam? What happened? When we attack Igbos, even though Igbos are also 98% or almost 99% Christians, Igbos do not say, oh, because you attack me, you are attacking Christianity. When we attack Efik or Ibibio, we criticize them. You don't say, oh, because you're attacking Efik Ibibio, you're attacking Christianity. Why is it that anytime you call out the evil that is being done in the name of by Fulanis, terrorism being perpetrated by Fulanis against innocent children, war crimes, The next thing they start shouting is they're attacking Islam. What happened? And this was what Sudan was doing. This was exactly what also the extremists and terrorists that hijacked power in Central African Republic were also doing. When they hijacked power in Central African Republic, these pastoralists, and when the indigenous, moderate Muslims, Christian population animists stood up and went to war and chased these people out of Bangui, the next thing they did was started spreading propaganda that they are killing Muslims. It is not, that is the most dangerous rhetoric. The most dangerous rhetoric that happened in Sudan is already happening in Nigeria, was to turn this rhetoric into a Christian versus Muslim fiasco. It is not a Christian versus Muslim fiasco. I am sorry. Unfortunately, the reason why the northern Christians, especially Middle Belt Christians, are saying, oh, they are killing Muslims, are killing us, is because that is the only way they can get sympathy from international powers. Many of the ethnicities, there are over 50 ethnicities in Plateau State, indigenous ethnicities. Some of these ethnicities are not even up to 200,000. Some of them are not even up to 400,000. So many of these ethnicities can be wiped out. So the only thing that is giving them a form of social cohesion is Christianity and Middle Belt nationalism. So nobody knows Middle Belt nationalism. It's not as powerful as that on the global stage, and they do not have the numbers. So what do? They are hiding under Christian nationalism for their survival. In order to survive, just the way the Fulanis use Islamic nationalism in order to be able to use people as foot soldiers. Fulanis cannot fight their own battles without using other people as foot soldiers. So what I'm explaining now, two things was used to weaponize banditry in Sudan and jihadize it: Pan-Arabism and Pan-Islamism. Pan-Arabism and Pan-Islamism. Pan-Arawanism has failed in Nigeria because the Fulanis have bastardized it. And because of the balkanization of the northern region, the different ethnic nationalities in that area called northern region are now standing on their feet and saying, we are not going to be your slaves any longer. Now they resorted. They cannot use Pan-Fulanism because they do not have the outright majority. They are even one of the minorities in the north. So they do not have the number, but they control the levels of power, just like the Tutsis in Rwanda. So they cannot use it. So what they are using is Pan-Islamism, because they have their agents who also believe in Salafism. And they believe that, oh, we are killing and waging war, wiping out these infidels. That's why you see words like, you see this young folks of Arewa descent going about throwing words like Fulani, like Kufar, infidel. They are dehumanizing their fellow Nigerians. The same miscreants are also going to come back and say, oh, are we not all fellow Nigerians? They are going to dehumanize, because before they can carry out violence and justify violence and spit on the blood of their victims, they have to dehumanize. That's why it's nothing Islamic in what they're doing. It is just the belief that they need to displace you. They need to disenfranchise you. They need to change demography because they want to weaponize politics within Nigeria. The current system of government we do in Nigeria, voting for and the current presidential system, we are postponing the evil day. We are going to kill ourselves at last. That's what is going to happen. Because it has been weaponized. It has been weaponized. And we hope that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will have the guts to save Nigeria from exploding. What America came to do, to shout, to raise alarm, and be shouting on our leaders, is to warn the rest of West Africa. Nigeria is about to explode. And our leaders are papering over the cracks by doing all sorts of diplomacy. The same thing happened in Sudan. They papered over the cracks in Sudan, and Sudan exploded. The whole of Sahel is in shambles. That is why state police is extremely important. Because the Nigerian army is already overstretched, fighting multiple battles across different terrains, from the tropical rainforest, from the coast to the Sahel, to the savannah, to Lake Chad, on rivers. So it is no longer sustainable, or else we want to descend into a failed state ruled by militias and warlords. God forbid. I'm going to stop here. There's a lot to say. We'll surely continue next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Are, for that wonderful lecture. Just a moment, we're trying to fix a glitch on the space. Mr. Jalomi, how is that going? Have you managed to bring back the space? Mr. Jalomi?
It'll be
back
up in a
on?
moment.
All right.
Up in a moment.
Yeah, just bear with us a moment, everyone. Thank you for joining us and watching. And once again, thank you, Are, for that lecture. I don't have a lot to say. I just want to also add that the people who lost their loved ones during the week and for the past few weeks, in fact, for years now, many people have been losing their loved ones in Nigeria. May God comfort you, and I hope you're surrounded by loved ones. And I pray that we won't continue to experience this kind of loss in Nigeria again. Madam Ajoke Ade, do you have anything to add and to share tonight before we transition to Q&A?
Yeah, Are, thank you as usual. Ẹ ṣé gan, a dúpẹ́ o. Ọpọlọ yín ò ní dàrú. Thank you so much. Ẹ ṣé. Yeah. Bára ti ṣe sọ, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lèmi rò pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ wá lógún. So our people should our people because it's sad. It's just sad. Bí gbogbo àwọn kinní ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ mí, I'm just dumbfounded. We cannot keep consoling our people. A lè máa console àwọn èèyàn wa gbogbo ìgbà. Wọ́n kàn pa àwọn èèyàn wa. Kì í ṣe ẹdìyẹ now. Our leaders, they just have to do something. They cannot keep quiet. They have to do something. Because ó ń dòyìí ká ni. Gbogbo wa náà là ń rí. Nǹkan tó dé Kwara, tó dé Kogi, ṣé kò tíì dọ́yọ̀ ni? Tó bá dọ́yọ̀, èmi ló fi máa dé Ògùn. Tó bá dé Ògùn state, èmi ló fi máa dé Lagos state, ló fi máa dé gbogbo Yorùbá land. Our leaders, they cannot just keep quiet. They cannot keep quiet. They have to do something. Wọ́n lè máa pa wá, kán dẹ̀ máa wò. They have to do something. They just have to buckle up. Thank you, Madam Olapeju.
All right, thank you, Ma. The space is back on now, so we can transition to Q&A. I'll leave. I'll hand over to you, Ma.
Just give me 1 minute. I had to connect back.
Do we have anyone on space on the stage that wants to speak harshly? Do we have anyone right now? Mr. Jalomi, do we have anyone that is on stage to speak?
No, we don't have anybody up yet. But those soon to come up. Yes.
All right. So Are, you said a lot, and you've urged our leaders and our elders to start making amends or start finding solution and to start moving rapidly. Well, I still want to ask, because a lot of people right now are not safe, and there's the situation of a lot of kidnapping. What can be done to the government and the leaders and elders start to make more sustainable and long-term starts to bring about a more sustainable and long-term solution? What can be done by the communities to safeguard themselves for the time being?
What can safeguard the community is for the community to sincerely tell themselves the truth. I'm going to use an instance. You see, when many of us look at the utterances of Nigeria and Nigerians and what is currently happening in Nigeria and what happened in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Mali, in Niger, in Burkina Faso, in Central African Republic, in Sudan, you are going to see, even in Afghanistan, in Syria, you are going to see a lot of similarities. Now, let me tell you what I'm trying to say. Until Taliban got into Kabul, a lot of Afghans did not believe. They were still listening to what the government was telling them, that everything is okay. We used drone fighter jet to kill 2 million Taliban 3 years yesterday. We destroyed them 30 years. We are winning the war. That was what they were saying. If you look at how chaotic, the way many Taliban, many Afghans were packing their baggages, it was, many of us are witnessing history. That the next 100 years, many people are going to read it. And so people actually witness this. We are witnessing history. You have to, that's why when you listen to this kind of conversation is critically important. People are going to tell you, oh, we need to love each other. That was exactly what they were preaching in Sudan, while millions of people were being wiped out on Sudan. In fact, until 2009, many Sudanese were still going about saying, oh, one Sudan, one destiny. Until 2010, many people still believe it is, oh, Sudan is unbreakable, unnegotiable. Omar al-Bashir said it, that it was Allah that created Sudan, that Sudan will be till eternity. Where is Sudan? And where is Omar al-Bashir? He's in prison. So we need to understand, and it is even possible that Sudan will be broken permanently into two. Western Sudan, controlled by Western Arabized Arabs, and Eastern Sudan, controlled by Arabs, by the Eastern Arabs. And they're going to control Khartoum. So that is exactly what might happen in Sudan. Just like what happened in Somalia, what happened in Libya. And those that were wiped, and this was why there were so many casualties in Syria, and a lot of casualties in Sierra Leone and Liberia, because the people living in Freetown, people living in Monrovia, did not prepare. They were not prepared. They were going to parties. They were going to clubs. In fact, I saw a week before Taliban took over Kabul, I still saw one female rapper in Kabul that was rapping, like, oh, Afghanistan, one country. I'm very sure pé abẹ́ ẹ̀há ló máa wà ń sìn tí wọ́n máa fún kòbókò. Rapper yẹn sìn yìí, wọ́n ti máa rap ẹnu lé. I'm being very, very serious. These are things maybe a lot of people did not actually follow up. Go and read the history of Iran between 1950 and 1980. Iran was booming. It was using Persian civilization. The Shah of Iran, very, very brilliant. Western country, very progressive. The educational system was top-notch. What happened? There were Shia radicals who are going about. They've been doing this thing, this radicalism, this extremism. But the Shah never cracked down on them. That was the greatest mistake he made. And coupled with the gullible neoliberal lefts, the students, humanity, we all want Iran. Oh, let us all come together. They were the ones who organized the protests that sent away the Shah of Iran. They were not prepared. These radicals that did the Iranian revolution was not an Ayatollah or Islamic revolution. It was an hijacked revolution by the Islamists who wanted to destroy secularism and the diversity within Iran, and they did it. Until today, they are in power. And if you are not careful, they might be there for the next 200 years. All the liberals that joined them to organize that protest, who were not prepared, all of them, many of them were annihilated, and thousands, tens of thousands of them became permanent refugees. Go and look at the Iranian community in the United Kingdom, in France, in America, and in Canada. Many of them were people, they were the ones that organized that revolution before it was hijacked by the Islamists. So when we say we should prepare, it is not just a physical preparation, ideological preparation. That's why when a lot of them were saying, oh, Wike must go, Wike must go, because they need to put their person in charge of Abuja in case they want to do a coup d'etat. I am saying this publicly. You think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is stupid for putting a strong man, a powerful man, to defend him in Abuja? If there is a coup, Wike would rather die. Wike will die with his boys in Abuja before a coup can be successful. You think they're going to put somebody that will hear the sound of gun and will jump through the window and take the next flight to Dubai? He knows what is on stake. He knows what is about to happen. He knows what is at stake. So our people must be mentally ready for what can happen in Nigeria. In those àwọn tí wọ́n lọ pa ní church CAC ní Eruku ní Kwara State, they did not know. They went for ìsọjí àgbàyanu. Ẹlòmíì gan lè wà lórí bíríbírí tí ò tí jẹun for 40 days. Tó lè lọ bá kú ẹ̀pàdé mi ò yọ wọ́n. So we are still saying, and let me tell you something. Just like in Sudan, people will excuse it. They will say, oh, I've seen people, you don't even know what happened in Sudan. What happened in Sudan is not like that. They will excuses. They will give excuse for your killings. They will give excuses for your destruction. They will make excuse when they slaughter you. The killers the people will openly make excuses for the killers and ask the victims to remember unity and one Nigeria. So, society by speech, we thank God that now look at the Southwest governors. The Southwest governors is the only region that is doing security meeting in the whole of Nigeria. The South is not doing it. The Southeast is not interested. The Middle Belt is not, the media governors are not doing it. The Northeast is not doing it. The Northwest is not doing it. So you should understand that what is going to happen in case of any And unfortunately, Nigeria has created a parasitic political mindset, the unitary system. So if you see some people saying they don't want true federal, they don't want state police, regional police, it's because if their region go down, they want everybody to sink together with them. And what we are saying is we will not sink together with you. We will not. We will not. And our leaders will be told, you must have a form of defense mechanism to protect the Southwest. Now, this is just a look. Okay, let me give you an instance. Look at what Al-Qaeda did in Mali was very simple. They said they are going to cripple the economy of Mali because they've taken over 60% of the country and they've taken over Bamako. Now, they've almost taken over Bamako. Now, what they learned when they first took over many towns and territories, Al-Qaeda took over towns and territory in 2013, 2014. Now, let me tell you something about Mali. Mali is another place that looks like Nigeria a little bit. There is secessionist agitations in northern Mali. The Tuaregs also want to secede from Mali. And there is also ISIS in the eastern part of Mali that is also saying they want to create an Islamic state in Mali. Nigeria. Now, there is another Al-Qaeda, mostly populated by Fulanis, who wants to take over the entire Mali as a whole and implement their version of ultra-Sunni Fulano-centric type of Islam. I only want to control 60% of Mali as we speak. And what they did was very simple. They laid a siege. No, they look at Mali. That's why these people are, look, Islamists are not, these jihadists are not stupid. Many of them are doctors. They are listening to me as I'm speaking. They are listening, they are watching. They know I'm speaking facts. They are brilliant minds. Their IQ is above the average IQ. They are not, look, they are brilliant. There are many of you that are shouting on Twitter. I studied what they did. What did they do in Sudan and Mali? I'm not glorifying them. Never. I just want us to understand our enemy. What did they do? They literally, they knew that Bamako is the nerve center of Mali. You take Bamako, the entire Mali will fall into place. And Bamako is import dependent. Food, energy, medicine. So what did they do? They look at all the major roads where all the logistics, either from Senegal and Burkina Faso, gets into Mali. And what they did is to be doing patrol. Any tanker, they were just killing drivers, kidnapping drivers. So they were able to ensure. So because of that fear, because terrorism also works with fear, goods and services, essential goods and services like energy, gas, could no longer get into Mali, into Bamako. Because of this, the Malian army could not have petrol and gas to be able to put into their car for patrols. So they literally decimated, and the population of these Al-Qaeda terrorists, mostly Fulanis, are just 10,000. The entire army is just 10,000. These Al-Qaeda terrorists, 10,000, fighting and crippling an army that is almost 50 to 100,000 in Mali. And there's no solution. When this thing was going on and on, the The Malian military say, oh, it is because our politicians are corrupt. It's because our politicians are corrupt. The military should be able to do it. Once the military come in, security of life and property, and they will be able to defeat the secessionists, they will be able to defeat the terrorists. It's gotten worse. When they did a coup in Mali, a lot of Malian youths were celebrating. Oh, they did a coup in Burkina Faso. Oh, this now, they are going, they felt, oh, these things are going to get better. No, things did not get better. It's getting worse. Now, look at what they did in Nigeria. They were striking schools. What happened? The entire school in northern Nigeria has been shut down. So what Boko Haram wanted to do in the northeast, the Fulani bandits have been able to achieve it at the national scale. That is the exact definition of the jihadization of banditry that I'm talking about. We must be prepared as Yoruba people living in Nigeria. We must do what the Kurdish people did. How the Kurdish people survived ISIS. At the rise of ISIS. We must defend ourselves by asking our political elites. The constitution must be changed for the component units of Nigeria to have a means to be able to combat insecurity at the local level. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Oh, okay, sorry. I'll let you take over. Thank you, Are.
I have a follow-up question. Are, it is not denying fact. If we, among us now in Yoruba land, we have some radicals, Muslims, hardly deny it. And their utterances, which is, it's circulating. I'm going to mention name actually, Are. Mufti Iwo, all of us know Mufti Iwo. Dr. Sharafa, the same thing. Can't our government, our governors, can't they do something? They want to restrict you because I want what you want it is so they won't really share anything, they cannot just keep quiet and be looking at them. Come and continue. Another point, we are wiki to toy. Gumi was in Ibadan. We saw the crowd for what? It's a message for me. One pass message me. Walking me and added Dakeni Yoruba. Is it on Tita share anything, Abi, what is really going on? Fine. We know religion is not a problem, Nile Yoruba. But from the look of it, the radicals among us, both Christians, but mostly Muslims, radicals.
Let me come in. In the 80s, there was a particular man called Ajagbemo Keferi.
I know him as well. Even if I didn't bad.
Yes, he was far more radical than Mufti Iwo. Sherry, the advantage we have in Yoruba land is that we've been able to minoritize, make sure that these extremists, these Salafists in our midst are in the minorities, and they have no access to political power. So what they teach them, the extremists, I'm going to be saying something on here, and I'm going to be very, very open-minded. The people that believe that Nigeria should be an Islamic caliphate, they were taught, even everywhere, that they should turn the entire world into an Islamic caliphate. They can achieve it through two means: through the bullet and through the ballot. So what they were now preaching is that from university days, especially in universities, that's why you saw that we saw some minority clique. Many of you on Twitter and on social media, you see these people. The way they talk is always upside down. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n sọ ò bá taráyé mu. Wọ́n kàn máa sọ̀rọ̀, ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé ṣé Yorùbá lélẹ́yìí ṣá? Báwo ló ṣe máa ní pé ká máa ṣe Sharia law nínú state bíi Èkìtì or Lagos state? Ṣé ìṣe pé ti ní mental problem? Àwọn irú àwọn ẹlẹ́mà níbi tí Gumi ti ń sọ̀rọ̀. But let me tell you something. Thank God for somebody like Awolowo. Tẹ́ pé feudalism àti poverty wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni, we would have gone. The reason why tí wọ́n fi ń rí damage ṣe ní Kwara State, even though Yoruba, 90% of the population of Kwara State, is that poverty has been weaponized and ignorance and feudalism has been weaponized in Kwara State. It's intentional. That's what they do. That is why there must be, if you're a Yoruba nationalist, you must be in politics. So that these extremists, people who think like Gumi, people who wants to destroy the secularism, because you destroy the secularism of Nigeria, of Yoruba land, you destroyed Nigeria, and not allow to have ultimate power. But allow one. It was the minority Salafists, extremists, to take over political power. To take over political power. Ni Iran, I only want to destroy the rest of the people. There are so many secularists in Syria. So many secularists. In fact, so that is why we must participate in politics. Let me also tell you, one of the ideology of the father of the current Gumi is that one of the founders of Izala sect, which is the foundation of the extremist preaching we see in Nigeria. One of the ideologies that they used to say that the Islamic nationalists must join the Nigerian military. But Yoruba youth, Yoruba family, they're about to run in politics. Hey, especially are you Christians? I'm Christians. They're about to join politics. Join Nigerian military. And you've forgotten that the people, many of these people going into politics are going there for conquest. To change government, you have to go through two means. It's either you go through the ballot or the bullets. So today, if you marry àwọn Bashir Ahmed, tono extremist Muslim lòun, òun believe in blasphemy. Many of these northern young boys was not delete the way they were supporting the killings of Deborah. The person that killed Deborah, I want to talk about Deborah, they were called out. And come and see your fellow Nigerians that are lawyers, SAN, more than 50 lawyers showed up pro bono to defend the killers of Deborah. In a supposedly secular country, that should ring a bell. That we don't have a future. That we have enablers in powerful places in Nigeria. We know how this is going to end. There will be a powerful clash that will happen in the nearest future. It's a clash of civilization. We don't think the same way, but in Yoruba land, they will lose. We defeated, flogged them in 1940. We will destroy them in the 21st century, never to rise up again. You will not destroy our homeland. It is homeland or death. We will not allow you to bring a foreign ideology that has turned the entire world, Middle East, the Sahel, into terrorism and bring it to our homeland. That's why we must speak out. Don't allow them. Don't let them gaslight you. That's why I love the way other people came. That time when they see one shame wodake. Ìbàdàn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní attack ìṣẹ̀ṣe. Ìṣẹ̀ṣe people have been keeping quiet for more than 200 years. Nígbà táyì náà jáde tẹ́ gbé ring light síta. Ṣé wọn mọ̀ pé wèrè lọ́gàá? So that is what you do to combat extremism. We must preach Yorubanism, secularism, freedom of religion, freedom of worship. If you are a Muslim and you are seeing Christians being persecuted in Yoruba land, you must speak up. If you are a Christian, you see Ìṣẹ̀ṣe people being persecuted, you must speak up. Because once they are done, they are coming for you. They are coming for you. The Islamists radicals don't have any friends. And it's because Nigeria refused to crush them in 2001. Now, everybody is now paying the price. So we know that Nigeria is not ready to solve this problem, because what you need to do is to secularize the core north. Just the way the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is currently crushing extremists in Saudi Arabia. Ó ju àwọn tó máa ń preach extremism yẹn, ó ju wọn sẹ́wọ̀n ni. Ó ju wọn sẹ́wọ̀n ni. You crush them. That's what they did in Jordan. That's what they did in Jordan. That's what they did in UAE. If you don't do that, you see almost all the Arab countries in the Middle East have banned the Islamic Brotherhood organization. Orí àwọn European countries ṣe ń pè ní pé táwọn Arabs bá lè máa ban irú àwọn organization burúkú yìí, pé táwọn gbà láàyè inú country táwọn. But àwọn organization burúkú yìí, àwọn extremists yìí tí wọ́n ti lé kúrò láwọn Arab countries, àwọn ni wọ́n inú Nàìjíríà náà ti ń fi VIP gbà wọ́n láàyè. Àwọn ń ja ogun for 15 years tí ò ṣe solve, lè solve ẹ̀. And Voxy Populi, Voxy Dehi. If we don't get, that's why the Nigerian, especially Southern youths, Yoruba youths, you need to understand, we need to educate them. So that next time, instead the end SARS, Alama Sokwe end the 1999 Constitution. Give us true federalism so that we can create a modicum of sanity. And so that the core north, the northwest and the northeast will not take the rest of us down into hell that they are going. They are going into Sudan. They are going to hell. I would ever buy in lobby. Àwọn tó bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ lọ, tó bá ṣe orí burúkú títí, tó bá wà nù minority ni wọ́n, they can only have their say. But they will not have their way. A máa fún wọn lówó mọ́tò kan lọ bá Kúmi ní Kano. Tó bá fún wọn nìyẹn. Àwọn rámìrámì làárí ẹni kò ń rábò ẹ̀. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀.
Ààrẹ ṣé gan, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Madam Olapeju, over to you.
I don't have anything to say, Ma. We should go to Q&A now so we can conclude this session. Thank you, Ma.
Okay, so Morawo brother mi okay. So Baba Gunka, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Greetings to my brother, Are. Actually, I didn't want to come up to talk. I just wanted to come listen to him today because I knew it was going to be tough. But he said something very interesting that I had, and it was that Yoruba people need to shy away from materialism. We should understand the concept of nation building, and we should separate it from nationalism and from materialism. Sorry. There's that desire to amass wealth, and sometimes it's not contained in a way where we balance it with our ancestral roots. And this is one of the biggest openings that the enemy uses to penetrate Yoruba people. There is no Yoruba person that opened up the land for expansionism of alien invaders that was not a result of ambition. Starting from Afoja, and then to Shola Beru. It was ambition and that quest for materialism, empire building, and glory that made them lose their sense of patriotism to their land. There was a time the Baribas were with us, and they were helping us in fighting to stop the expansionism. It was the nobles among us that sabotaged that war because they realized that after that war, that king was going to come back and put his house in order. And if he's able to put his house in order, then the wealth they were amassing by being lord and masters in their enclave because of the balkanization of the empire will come to an end. They sabotaged that war and they left their king vulnerable to a situation where he was killed at war. If Yoruba people get to a point where we are not, even in our little world here, into the little nationalist world, you can see that desire for fame, desire for power, desire for glory, bashing against each other, making people hate each other, making you just kind of want to hate someone else who is doing his own thing in his corner. This is something that needs to be diagnosed well among us Yoruba people, and we need to evolve to a better people. You see, transition from expansionism through jihad. There are two ways that, and I'm happy I explained it. There are two ways you can expand in the jihad. You can expand through the jihad, direct sword, direct war, but you can also do it through politics. And the most dangerous way to actually expand the jihad is through politics because you won't see it coming. You just wake up one day and you just see that you've been conquered. It just happens like that. The jihad that happened in Lorry was not a jihad that happened through war. It was a jihad that happened through politics. They infiltrated the Lorry political structure. They corrupted the structure and then they changed the structure. It creeps up on you. And you can see it creeping gradually in Nigeria. How did it start? It started in a small place called Zamfara. And what was the question? Oh, we just want a little Sharia code. They're not stopping Christians. It expanded to all those areas. Why did this end? It ended now in saying, hey, we want Ruga, right? It started in Zamfara. Look at the journey it took all the way from Zamfara to where we are today. It was from there, it went to all the other places. It was from there they now started asking for Ruga and all these things. And it was from there we have the bandits today. Starting from that small region, you know. So when it happens through politics, it's way more dangerous. When the British was leaving, they wanted to leave Nigeria as a banana republic. And the definition of a banana republic is a country that remains politically unstable, often impoverished. The economy is dependent on one single export. And that was in some South American companies where they only allowed, they helped them to grow bananas. That's where the word came from, right? And then it is frequently exploited by foreign corporations. The plan of the British was to leave Nigeria as a banana republic. But you know, the sad thing was that if we got independence in 1951, things would have been a little bit better because the British would not have seen some things they saw. But you see, from 1951 to 1960, there was rapid development going on in South Nigeria that was not experienced for the whole 40 years that they were around. See, within that 1951 to 1960, Yoruba land did what some governments cannot do in 20 years. What should be like a 20-year or 30-year vision? Awolowo did it in a short span of 8 years. Mass education of people, mass industrialization of this land, mass mechanized farming, urban to rural migration, expansion of construction. So you see, all the thing happened so rapidly and so shortly. And then the man was now building foreign relationships with countries outside the European structures. He was building strong relationships with the Scandinavians, with the Jewish people, with the Cubans, with the South American. This became a problem. And that was one of the reasons why they knew that the only way they can keep Nigeria down is to make sure that it's the Fulani oligarchs that they gave Nigeria to. And this is one of the reasons why the sage said at that time, because he understood what was going on, that the North is a dead weight on the South, a slow but sure dead weight on a fast-moving star. You see the penal code system that is going on in northern Nigeria, it was designed by the British. It was the British that actually designed it for them. And it's very interesting that the people, there was a man called Sherwood Smith. And Sherwood Smith was the governor general in the, each region have his governor, white district governor. He was the one who helped the Fulani elites design this penal code system in the north. He was the one who sent the delegations that went to Sudan and Libya, as well as Pakistan, to help the Sadana design this framework of a code of modern Muslim states. And he put Christians in the Middle Belt under them. And these are the people who claim that the legitimacy, one of the legitimacies for which they claimed was the reason why they came to colonize us, was because they want to expose us to Christ. But the same people who came and exposed us to Christ are the same people who now took those Christian side of the Middle Belt and put it under the North, put them under a penal code system, and then made sure that when they were leaving, they forgot those that are called Jeremiah Awolowo. They forgot those that are called Samuel Akintola. They forgot those that I know this other man too had an English name, but his name skipped my head, right? They forgot all of them. Sorry. One second. Yeah, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
Whose mic is that?
Yeah, please. In a minute. Say that again. I think it's round up in a minute. Benjamin Azikwe. Okay, Benjamin Azikwe. You see, all that all that they did that, and then they gave Nigeria to a direct descendant of Usman Dan Fodio, who came to do a jihad in the country. And I wrap up by saying that Ahmadu Bello said something interesting when he in 1962, he said, "I have never sought the political limelight or a leading position in Nigeria, but I would not avoid the obligation of my birth and destiny." That's where the born to rule syndrome also came from. He said, I would not avoid the obligation of my birth and destiny. My great-grandfather built an empire in the West Sudan. It has fallen on my lot to play a not inconsiderable part in building a new nation. My ancestor was chosen to lead a holy war, which set up his empire. I have been chosen by a free electorate to help build a modern state. Then this is the story of my life. Now, this is the Ahmadu Bello and his great grandfather had the same mission. The only difference is that one wanted to do it through war, and then the other one wanted to do it through peace. And that mindset is what we still have till today. And this is why this battle still continues. And we have to consolidate ourselves for these challenges ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, bro. We are so grateful. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, we have a question.
Go ahead, please. Then after you,
Okay.
Mr. Demola can go.
Okay, someone asked this from WhatsApp. It says, "This is my question. If Nnamdi Kanu is getting some ground on self-determination towards a collective country, why are some Yoruba against him instead of pushing the same for a collective country?"
All right, are you there?
Thank you so much. Number one, the agenda of the Igbos is different from the agenda of the Yoruba people. The Igbos needs to understand one thing. One, the concept of trauma bonding is never going to work in Nigeria. I know that there is a kind of feeling that all of us are suffering. The 2023 election has taught the generation yet unborn of the Yoruba people an eternal lesson. How people that were shouting Biafra or death changed their DP profile picture and they became emergency patriotic Nigerians because of an Igbo presidency. How we saw hardcore Biafran nationalists openly supporting the political takeover of Lagos State, a Yoruba land, in 2023. And it's not just one, not two, not three, not four, not 5, not 20 of Biafran nationalists, young and old, especially those in the diaspora, openly boasting that Lagos is now theirs. Is that Biafra? Is that exactly what IPOB is all about? Expansionism? And from the lessons we learned in South Sudan, how the Dinkas were able to manipulate the Noahs and the Equatorians as foot soldiers, use their blood and sacrifices. Tens of thousands of them, millions of them perished in war, only for them to go and become third-class citizens in South Sudan. We pray for the Igbo nation. You don't hate them. God will help you. But the Yoruba people are more than capable to fight our battles. The Niger Delta, the Ijaw people were able to fight their battle to get what they want in Nigeria, using what they know how to do. The Yoruba people will do what it needs to do to survive and get what we need, not just in Nigeria, in Africa. Pan-Africanism died, that quote unquote, as equals Pan-Africanism that destroyed that prevent everybody from getting real freedom and real independence, died in the 1960s. We are not going that route again. We are not permanent enemies, and we are not permanent friends. Our interest is sacrosanct. We can fight today and even greet tomorrow. We wish you guys all the best. But the Yoruba people will do what pays the Yoruba people the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Are Eshegoni. So, Mr. Ademola, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ma, we can't hear him at all. We can't hear him here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but we can't hear him.
So, as I was saying, the people, they have their own agenda. Their own is to use political agenda and through development. The jihadist one, the Fulani and family and stuff, their own is to do that. And a lot of Yorubas, like even a normal Yoruba person, they don't know about what it is. Yoruba person, that does not concern them. They just go to market, go to and everything. Most of Yoruba, even those days, they don't think I even get it. They are not everything. Like, they don't even have the sense of this sense of like nationality, Yoruba nationality, everything. And I think that goes back to like, if things is not being taught, most of them don't know. These are coming into the language now. Most of them don't know our law. They don't know all these people that fought the hard battle for the survival of this Yoruba culture. And in my point of view, I think that it is right time. If is already getting good, if it is already getting new politically, those things that I did in the next 5, 6 years, they won't be able to like take it to the brain completely. I think it is the right time for us to start our own nationalist party, focus fully on Southwest, that will push the Yoruba nationalist idea outside. If it has, I don't know whether really people have been planning. Like I said, this is the first time I'm actually this is the first time I'm actually following the life. I don't know if you can do any groundwork, but I think that is the next. If there's anything that's next, like to project this, that will be our next agenda. You can have chairman, even if you don't have chairman, to me from speaking of right, both and
am I the one? I'm only struggling to understand. I can't hear him at all. He's muffled.
Same on my side, alright?
Can you quickly make your point, sir? We can barely hear you, sir.
What I'm just trying to say is that what I'm just trying to say is that if we create our own politics focused on Yoruba nationalism, if we create our own political party, our own political ideological party based on Yoruba nationalism.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Yeah, that's why we said think Yoruba first. We love Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. We are not secessionists, but the Yoruba is a nation within Nigeria because Nigeria is an amalgamation, and it is right for the Yoruba people to defend their territories and their base within the Nigerian Federation. Why we must not allow people to weaponize religion, weaponize chaos, weaponize internal migration, weaponize Nigeria for the eventual takeover of Yoruba land. So we really accept that. And as regards to the Yoruba agenda, we cannot discuss that publicly. So God will help us. You can join us in TIYF. We'll be happy to have you on board. Thank you so much, sir. Any other question? Please, I need more questions because the more the question, the more people are going to learn. Moderators?
We have
Mr.
Mr. Mr. Abishe Wambe. Mr. Alabi, are you there?
I'm here. They've taken down my Twitter account. So this is my new Twitter account. I just wanted to tell everybody. Okay,
no problem, sir. We are live. This is a professional. Please, let's make you professional, sir.
Mr. Alabi, go ahead.
Mr. Alabi, please go ahead, sir.
Then he should be muted if he does not have anything to say.
No, I think he just wanted us to know that his account was taken down and he has a new one.
Okay, no problem. Hopefully, hopefully we can appeal. You can appeal to Twitter, and Twitter should be able to.
Is it the same Alabi?
Yes, Mr. Alabi. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I have a question.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Yes, I was reading and watching some tapes about Tajikistan. I think it was part of the former Soviet Republic. And along the way, I learned the current leader is stopped Sharia and is going after fundamentalists. But
yeah, Tajikistan can do that because of 3 reasons. One, Tajikistan can do that because they are Tajiks and they are Persians. The ethnicity that you have, the major ethnicity that you have in Iran is the same ethnicity you have in Tajikistan. They are the same people, just like Azerbaijan and Turkey. So the Azerbaijani people and the Turkic people, they are the same. They are the same people. So you can do that because it is ethnic identity, Persian civilization. So everybody's trying to, this is the world has changed. Everybody's going to factory reset. Why should they promote, why should they subjugate their ethnic identity for Arab culture? Because Arab identity is different from Islam. If you look at Malaysia, Malaysia and Indonesia are the people that actually understand this effectively. Malays are wonderful Sunni Muslims, but they did not allow Islam to affect their culture and identity. That's why they are progressive. Indonesia are also Sunni Muslims, but it is their culture and Islam. So Islam is personal. Islam is not political. So what we have that is destroying the Middle East and is destroying the Sahel is the politicization of Islam. It is an ideology that says Islam is not just a religion, it is political power. It is the weaponization of Islam. And some people still believe that we are still back in the days of empires. Christianity has also passed through this for a long time. The English did it with the Anglican Church. They created their own brand of Christianity and they created Anglican. Emperor Constantine did the same with Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, by creating a Catholic Church. It has always been like that. The Spanish Empire under Queen Isabella used Catholicism as a form of empire building tool and weaponizing it in Spain and Portugal, in the Iberian Peninsula. So this is the problem we have. The weaponization of religion. And I think what I saw it to, Tajikistan is just trying to just undo years and years of what has happened to them. So nothing much about Tajikistan. Is they are patient and they are doing what they need to do. Central Asia has never been hardliner Muslims. The Turkic people, the Mongolian people, the Persians, they've been progressive. Up until the Shia Islamic revolution that happened in the 1980s in Iran, Iran was not like that. Even this problem of terrorism that we are currently facing, Islamic fundamentalism and radicalism, that is now global, that is now endemic, epidemic, even in northern Nigeria, was not as terrible as this until around something just sparked around 1996 and 1997, especially after the Afghan war. It was the Afghan war where a lot of radicals went from across the world to go and fight in Afghanistan against the Soviets, the Russians. That was where people like Osama bin Laden learned the art of warfare, and everything changed. Do we still have other questions, please?
Yes, I do, but let's take the speaker first.
Actually, Min Oluwatobi, are you there?
Yes, good evening. Well, I would like to ask this question because I made mention of something last 3 or 4 weeks ago. He was talking about Pentecostal churches. Nigeria is the powerhouse of the Pentecostal churches in Africa. And also, Islam is like the major distinct form.
this in Africa. So I was now listening to one man. He was saying the same thing and he said the ideology was to eradicate anything. He said after finishing with Christians, they will now bounce on the traditional. He said but I'm not going that way that it is religious. It is much more than religious. Now my question is, how do we silence all these radicals in Southwest? Because normally they are now connected now. We saw what happened. This Gumi, this thing,
they are not. I'm coming. You see.
You came late. I asked the question.
Look. Don't panic.
All right, down low.
Sherry, Emma Beru.
You're not burying
Emma Beru. What the only way the only way you can crush extremism is to, what they are doing is Islamism. The only antidote is Yorubanism. So that's why if you observe, I told you something. I said something before. I said, go and look at every religious extremist, even that are Christians. All these extremists have one thing in common. They hate any form of Yoruba nationalism. They are not interested.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
They hate it. Everybody will, let us destroy Sunday Igboho. When you say you want to destroy Sunday Igboho, are you the federal government? Let the federal government do their job. Sunday Igboho, Lord, chase Fulani. Have you ever even talked about the killings by Fulani militias, terrorists, killing people in Oyo State, in Ogun State? Did you complain? They will keep quiet. They are mentally messed up. Because to them, I'm not here as a spokesperson of Sunday Igboho, but people like Pantami, that was openly advocating for Al-Qaeda, recorded speech, Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, and was declaring fatwa, death on Nigerian Christians in the Middle Belt. After I did that, he became a minister in Nigeria. He's still working free. El-Rufai unleashed carnage. If people like that are working free, Gumi says all sorts of terrible things. They are working free. So if people can be making utterances that has led to the death of thousands of Nigerians, if they are not charged for terrorism, is this somebody that says my people are being killed, stop killing them? That you are now trying to say all sorts of nonsense about? So that is how extremists behave. They're illogical. You cannot relate it. They can speak good English, they can speak English with accent, they might come as you as somebody intelligent, but they are not rational. They are always very volatile. They are very, very aggressive. They are very, very deceitful. They manipulate. But and if you want to deal with them, we're not even worried. My face one. Face one. My face one. You see the way we were able to checkmate those that wanted to censor Yoruba people on the social media. We went ballistic, and everybody respected us.
Exactly.
So it is the Christians used to say something. The kingdom of God suffered violence, and the violent take it by force.
Yes.
So that is the way it works. You face it. Don't fear. It is when God says you are going to die, you are going to die. Do not fear. Do not fear the person that can kill the body, that cannot kill the soul. Don't fear. Because this is our last stand. 1,000 years ago, the Arabs did not control Africa. Now, the Arabs own 1/3 of Africa. They are coming for the 2/3. If you look at how they are operating, Mauritania used to be in West Africa as of 15 years ago. Mauritania now left, and Mauritania has gone and joined North African Federation. They've left ECOWAS. And Mauritania is 70% black, almost 70% black, ruled by a minority Arab population that conquered the black people and enslaved them. Till date, they are still enslaving black people in Mauritania. So one way or the other, there is a gradual decimation of West Africa going on. The people that want to take over Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali are not Africans. They are not black people. They are Arabized people. They are Semitic people. And they are moving down. We need to pray for Mali not to fall. You can see the news that ECOWAS should be on standby. That they say that ECOWAS is also on the threat of verge of falling. ECOWAS is on the verge of falling. So we need to understand what is going on. And you don't need to fear these people. We must be prepared. So they are talking. Which one? Are we not going to TVC News? We are organizing conferences. Our 4th and Yoruba Global Conference is coming. It's going to take place next year. All of you must come there. We bring the Yoruba from the world, like we've always done, to show of power, show of solidarity. This is Yoruba land. They will fall. They will fail.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried. So we've always had these threats. The Ibadan War against Ilorin in 1840 was a war. That was the secularism, where freedom of speech, freedom of religion that we enjoy in Yoruba land was forged in blood. Ọmọlúàbí kọ́lé fi lè practice religion in peace nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. It was in blood that you got it in 1840. Many people don't know. The ability for you to practice the kind of Islam you want to practice, the ability for you to shout, praise the Lord, and nobody's cutting your head. The ability to sue Eriwoya and nobody is putting fatwa on you and calling you an apostate and be killing you was because Ibadan won the battle of 1840 in Oshogbo. If not, nobody would dare do this. So our freedom was forged in blood by some people that paid the supreme sacrifice. If this century we have to do it again, for the sake of our coming generation, we have to do it. State and political leaders, we let them know. We too organize ourselves. We tell people, we educate people. That's why when I saw somebody like El Rufai talking, saying nonsense, we have to go there. How dare you be speaking on tolerance, freedom of speech on Nigeria? You decimated and annihilated 50% of the indigenous Christian population in Kaduna. You are the reason why Nigeria is a CCPC, country of particular concern. It is because of your legacy. You empowered bandit. During your time, we knew what you did. So it is now, and social media is very, very powerful because information moves quickly now. The complexity of game is different. The reason why the core knot has been getting away with their madness is because people don't see what they are doing. Now people can see. Unfortunately, there are people like us that God has raised for this moment to be able to talk, to speak to the mind, to the conscience of our people. To be able to know deep things. So that we can be able to organize ourselves. Because if you don't know, the Darfur people did not know and they got into trouble. The Masalit people did not know, they got into trouble. Your mistake, they will capitalize on it and use it to annihilate you. They are that deadly. When people were calling out Fulani killings for the past 3 weeks, what did they switch to? They switched to, one North. Northerners, they are against. When that failed, they switched to, it is now Islamophobia. That's what they're trying to use. Now that has failed. Because everybody is saying, because we've been able to, look, as Yoruba people, Emma Bawan join Islam versus Muslim, Islam versus Christian fight. Don't ever do it as a Yoruba person. If you do it, you will destroy Yoruba land. In fact, if you are a member of TYF and you are fighting and using, you are cursing Christians, you are cursing Muslims, we will not allow you. Because Emma self-implode, Igbos can be declaring war against Islam. Get away with it. Fulanis can be declaring war. Hausas can be declaring a war against Christianity. Getting away with it. Fulanis can be declaring war against African traditional religion, and they can get away with it. In Yoruba man, you cannot do it. You are going to isolate a particular block section of your society that is going to destroy you. Total destruction, mutually assured destruction. It is called MAD, mad. So what do? Think Yoruba first.
Sorry, quick one. We crossed over 3,000 views on X for the first time.
Thank you so much.
Well done, Are, Madam Peju, Madam Ajoke, and her namesake, and Mr. Jolomi. Ekushe. And Mr. Bakari, you are not here.
We are really, really thankful to all of you watching us across the world. We greet you all in the name of Olodumare. Thank you so much for sharing this conversation. Whether you are listening to us from America, from Canada, from Europe, from Germany, from France, we are not boasting, but we know this is one of the few places where geopolitics, history is being taught from the African perspective, where we are telling ourselves the truth and how we are going to destroy feudalism and face the forces that want to annihilate us. The most dangerous place on earth is the Sahel of Africa. The most dangerous place on earth, on the surface of the earth, is no longer the Middle East. The most dangerous place to be born, one of the most dangerous places to be born, is in the Sahel. And unfortunately, Nigeria is part of the Sahel. And we are confronted with a terror that has killed millions. It has displaced millions with no end in sight. Our government is almost incapable of solving this problem, which is why the average people must be prepared. We must not panic, and we must not give in to these terrorists. We must understand, and we must be ready to face the truth that some regions in Nigeria are creating problem for the rest of us. We must be ready to, we must not concede. Don't concede to terrorism. Do not say, let us let them get away with it. No. There must be social responsibility. Those that killed Deborah are still walking free. This is why they continue this madness. We must understand our history, because we do not understand what is coming. Nigeria is at war. Our military are fighting on all fronts. They've done a good job. It's the bitter truth. What the Malian government could not do, which is at least the Nigerian government, the Sudanese government, Central African Republic, they've been able to contain these terrorists. But for how long? America was in Afghanistan for 20 years. The Russian army was in Syria for how many years? For almost 10 years. But when Syria fell, when America had to leave, America left Syria, left Afghanistan, and gave weapons and ammunition and training to Afghan security officers. Within 3 to 4 years, the Taliban took over Afghanistan back. So all the years of 20, 25 years failed because the ideology that made Taliban to thrive was still in Afghanistan. The ideology that is promoting this religious extremism is alive in the northwest and the northeastern part of the country. When we speak like this, it's because we do not want this poison to get into Yoruba land, to be specific. As it is not a call to hate anybody, both Yoruba Muslims, Yoruba Christians, Yoruba Isheshi, we have just one homeland. Nigeria is not a nation, it's a country of ethnic nations. We need to understand that there are many people in Benue, in Nasarawa, in Plateau, that they've been displaced from their homeland for the past 15 years. Many of them are getting married in IDP camps, in refugee camps. Many of them are going to universities in IDP camps, in refugee camps. They have no hope, no total hope of ever returning to the land of their ancestral homeland. Yes, within Nigeria, yet Nigeria moves on. Election goes on. People buy private jets. Churches are, and nothing happens. We must not become victims, my fellow Yorubas and other Nigerians listening to me, and to our people in the Middle Belt. The millions of people, whether you are listening to me today, from any refugee camp you are listening to me, or even the Hausas that have been displaced from their homeland in Zamfara, don't lose hope. Organize yourself. Organize yourself. Organize yourself. Use everything humanly possible under the surface of the earth to reclaim the land of your ancestors. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. You must think about yourself first. Don't allow people tell you you should let it go. Don't let them tell you Yauche. You must stand your ground. You must stand your ground. And we must not allow our political leaders to get away with irresponsibility and incompetence. I supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I supported him in the election with everything I've got. But we are not going to watch while political sycophants, incompetent elements, miscreants, Islamists, political opportunists continue to use the blood of Nigerians as politics. And they are going to telling us to go and to be behaving like mobs, to tell America not to come and help. No, we are not going to allow it. And we are not going to allow the politicians to cover up genocide. Because today it is some people, tomorrow it might be us. Thank you so much. My name is Oladimeji Bolarewa. I'm the president of Think Yoruba First Organization, the foremost Yoruba organization. We hope will continue to preach the message of Yorubanism. Every Saturday we are always here. We hope we continue to grow and grow because it is because of your audience. We want to take this message of real African indigenous liberation to the corners of the heart. May Olodumare continue to bless us. Once again, to the entire team that made this happen, God, will in His infinite mercy, will continue to be with you. God will in His infinite mercy. Those of you that help us to retweet, you share it with your friends, you share it with your families, whether you are Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, Ibi, Akan, anywhere you are across the world. May Olodumare continue to be with you. Those of you on Facebook, on TikTok, I see you. God bless you. Those watching on TikTok, those watching on YouTube, God bless you. Those watching on YouTube, on Facebook, God bless you. Those listening in Twitter Spaces, God bless you. And those watching on Twitter X, God bless you. May Lord Mary continue to be with us. Eshe.
Eshe gan re. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n add the points kan. Our Yoruba Muslim, you need to speak up. Any láti sọ̀rọ̀ sókè, you need to speak up. You need to speak against the radical among us. Ọmọ Yorùbá Christian oníṣẹ̀ṣe, ọmọ ìyá yín ni wọ́n jẹ́. Àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ wá pa yín, they are not going to ask if you're a Muslim or you're a Christian. Kò sí nǹkan kan tó kàn wọ́n. You need to speak up against the radical, stronger and louder against the radical among us. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, everyone. This will be the ending of this section. We've had a lot of stuff today, and I want us to remember the Yoruba adage. So we already know, we're already seeing all the signs across Nigeria, and we can't say it's not in Yoruba land. It's already in Yoruba land, because if you look at the list of names of people that were taken in Eruku, Kwara State, they are all Yoruba names. In Yowani, and when Yowalokolo, that is Yoruba land. So it's one already. So we need to be more organized now, and we need to look out for one another. And this is the time for us to be a proper community. So in Yoruba, ẹ jẹ́ kí a ní àánú ara wa lójú, ká dẹ̀ ní ìfẹ́ ara wa lọ́kàn. Ọlọ́run wà pẹ̀lú wa o. A borí ogun yìí náà o. We'll see again next week in good health and sound mind. Ojú á tún wa rí o. Ó dàárọ̀.